Welcome to Forgotten Video Store. Did you notice I didn't bleep the name this time? That's because this podcast has reached a settlement with the video rental place in North Hollywood with the same name, thanks to former guest and former lawyer Jihan Batuman. He's still got the goods, baby! According to our deal, I'm allowed to use the name Forgotten Video Store, and all I have to do is give the rental store all my profits from the first year of podcasting. I think they maybe didn't understand what a podcast is because now they owe me $448.08. Thanks, Jihan. I'm David Murto. I'm your host. I'm here every episode. And on this show, I talk about movies that aren't available to stream anywhere and movies that the listener has never seen. And of course, if you can prove that you have seen one of these movies before I talked about it on the podcast, then you'll win a fabulous prize, which is a $25 gift card to Fry's Electronics. And for the first time, I have a returning guest, and it's entertainment news journalist and my dear friend, Mike Celestino!
Whoa! I'm back, baby! David, you were my first returning guest on my podcast. Who's the boss?
Quid pro
quo.
Thank you.
Clarice.
I'm off to a great start. Yeah.
Payback's a bitch.
Mike, what's the most serious crime you've ever committed?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. It's really petty, really petty. When I was working at a DVD store in West LA, Matt Groening came in. It was right near the Fox lot in West LA.
Sure.
And Matt Groening came in. I was like, crap, I want Matt Groening's autograph.
Mm-hmm.
And I had him sign the in-store copy of The Simpsons Season 3, I think it was. And then I just took the box. I think I replaced it with mine, though, so it's not really theft at that point.
No, it's still theft.
Is it still theft?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the statute of limitations on that kind of theft is not up.
The store is no longer, it doesn't even exist anymore.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably in the clear then.
Yep.
How'd that video store compare to the Forgotten Video Store?
They had movies that people were more familiar with.
So they wouldn't have, like, for example, the movie you picked out this week, which is To Be Young Again from 2006, directed by Jay Russell, who directed a movie called My Dog Skip.
Oh, I remember My Dog Skip.
It's like a period piece, right? With a dog. And
sure.
I assume the dog dies at the end. And a movie called Tuck Everlasting.
It's like a Marley and Me for its own time.
Mm-hmm.
Tuck Everlasting. What was that one?
It's like Alexis Bledel is in it, and she like falls in love with this boy, and then you find out like he's actually hundreds of years old, and like his family can never die or something like that.
Is he like a vampire?
A little akin to a vampire, but
he doesn't age?
He doesn't age. Yeah.
So how
he's
did he
like
get
stuck
to be
at
that
7.
age?
He drank from the fountain when he was 17 years old.
I see. So he stays 17 as she ages
right
up.
Exactly. And he's
it.
like, you should drink too. And it's like pressuring a young girl into drinking is the theme of the movie.
Got it.
So anyway, To Be Young Again stars 2-time Academy Award winner Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
So why'd you pick this movie, Mike?
I feel like this is a concept that a lot of people have. Like, I feel like I've had this idea for a movie before, and it's just a really simplistic, easy, like kind of hacky idea.
Wait, you think this movie's hacky?
No, I don't know. I feel like I've thought about this. Exact notion. The story is reminiscent of ideas that I've had and stories I've seen before. But why did I pick this movie?
Your favorite actor's in it.
How can you go wrong with Kevin Spacey?
Some people have gone wrong in their experiences with him, but yeah, good point. So should we get into
this is around like the K-Pax era, right?
Yeah, K-Pax and Superman Returns, right?
Right.
With Bryan Singer, who he has a lot in common with.
Right.
So let's get into the movie a little bit. It starts and it's like Spacey's there and he's like in old age makeup.
Yeah.
Remind me of All the Money in the World where he played J. Paul Getty.
I haven't seen that one.
Well, the movie that was released was they had replaced all his scenes with Christopher Plummer, remember?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And so you can only see the Kevin Spacey version at the Forgotten Video Store.
Okay, right.
But,
that makes sense.
But both
Where they also have The Day the Clown Cried.
Yeah.
Which we haven't talked about that one yet.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Okay.
But so Spacey's in old age makeup, and we find he's like in the assisted living center. He's like got a lot of health problems, a bunch of cords and stuff sticking out of him, and he's like looking at different photographs and like, oh, here's a young woman, and there's like a tear comes to his eye. Oh, here's him as a kid with his parents. A tear comes to his eye. Oh, this guy has a life full of regrets. There's no one at his bedside.
Right. This is the first thing that really jumped out at me, is that we get this scene then where he's talking to the nurse and he's listing off all his regrets, right?
Right. And I thought that's an interesting way to give us some information about these characters. Have him deliver a list.
And I thought, well, wow, the first two regrets made perfect sense to me, and the third one was like completely bonkers. Like I was like scratching my head, like what? The first regret he had was that he didn't give his brother a proper goodbye when his brother went off to fight in World War II.
Right.
I was like, fine, that makes sense.
I
would second regret was he had a crush on this girl in high school and never asked her out.
Right, but he had kept a picture of her.
Yeah.
Which was creepy because this is like decades later. But anyway, yeah.
And then the third regret, this is the one that made me go like, what? He never got to visit the birthplace of McDonald's mogul Ray Kroc. This was something that he always wanted to do, and he never got there. And I was like, what? What are they thinking with this?
In storytelling, you learn a lot about the rule of threes.
Right.
There's like a 3-act structure. A joke has 3 beats. And in this man has 3 regrets. So I like this kind of structure movie. You know, like Christmas Carol, you know, it's a very simple structure. You're like, oh, I'm going to follow this structure and enjoy the movie. But I see your point. Like, it didn't strike me as that odd. Like, we all have different fast food founders' birthplaces we want to visit at some point. I went to Dave Thomas's house when I was younger and lit a candle and everything. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, maybe this is more common than I thought.
Bethany went to Papa John Schnatter's house when she was younger.
I was like, well, did McDonald's give them money for this? Like to put that plug in there?
That's possible, but I think this is a rite of passage for a lot of people.
Okay.
He tells all his regrets to the nurse who doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's just like, my shift is over in 5 minutes. Can we wrap this up? And then she leaves and he's like, I would give it all to be young again. So you get the titular line like 5 minutes in, and then like he just fucking flat lines. Spacey's dead. You're 5 minutes into the movie. Your lead character is dead, and so screen goes black. You hear some other stuff, and you're like, okay, we're still in the assisted living. Maybe there's a woman screaming. This is freaky stuff.
Yeah,
and then you see like kind of a vertical image of a light, ovoid shape, kind of opening up. And there's a doctor down there yelling push, and you're like, okay, so we're in like a birth scene and the camera's being born. It's cool. Like the camera kind of exits the woman's birth canal and there's goop everywhere. It's an interesting shot. I'd be interested to see how they did that.
Probably a camera like pushing through some drapes or something.
Yeah, some meaty drapes. So then you get a shot of, and I did not like this part. It looked to be a real baby, but with Kevin Spacey's face superimposed over the head.
Yeah. This part, the effects in this movie are bug nutty insane. Like, this is that era. I feel like there was an era in visual effects where people got overconfident with CGI and stuff like that. Like, after we had, like, Jurassic Park, of course, and then you had the Star Wars prequels, and you had Lord of the Rings with, like, Gollum and stuff.
Right, yeah.
And people were just like, oh, we can do anything. And then they just put very little effort into...
Yeah, like iRobot.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yeah.
So dumb looking. But this is like perhaps a little too good to dismiss as like just outright bullshit. Uncanny Valley is the word, the term I'm looking for. It's creepy to see a 40-something-year-old actor who we know too much about now as a baby. But he's there as a baby, and he just is like, what the shit? I'm a baby? And everyone in the room starts screaming, what's going on? Why is he talking? What is this? And so you're like, okay, this is like a reincarnation thing where Spacey has died, but now he's being born again. Right. I think in classic interpretation of reincarnation, you don't retain the ability to speak in your new life.
Yeah, and you would think they would do it with like voiceover, like look who's talking.
Right, yeah, like that movie is cute.
Yeah,
you know?
But here the baby is actually speaking in Kevin Spacey's voice.
And the other characters can hear him.
Right.
And they're not pleased.
Why would they be?
And he's like, fuck, is that my mom? Mom, you look so young. Dad, you've been dead for years. And everyone hates hearing this. This is not what you want to hear from your newborn baby seconds after they're born.
Yeah.
And I think Spacey's character takes that lesson to heart. He sees that everyone's weirded out by him talking like this. So he quickly decides, like, oh, I'm going to pull my cards a little closer to my vest, and I'm not going to give away that I'm actually a man who's lived 85 years and then circled back to being a baby. And this is kind of what you were talking about. You've kind of, I once had a dream where this kind of happened.
Yeah.
Where I, like, got to start over, you know?
Right.
And so, like, Kevin Spacey's dying wish to be young again, he'd give it all up to be young again. It's come true through some sort of magical turn of events.
So he decides to kind of play along.
Right. And then the nurse is like, oh, I left this spout open on the gas tank. Maybe we were all hallucinating.
Right.
Yeah, so Spacey's like trying to play it cool, like he's just a baby. As a grown person with the skills to take care of yourself, you don't really want to sit around in your own poop.
Right.
He like he lets them know right away, like he like motions to his diaper and stuff, and they're like, oh, this baby's so smart.
Yeah.
And as he grows older, you kind of see like, oh, he's like a genius baby. Like he gets to kindergarten, he can read his ABCs, he can read any book basically.
Yeah. We should say, by the way, okay, the movie begins in 2006, which is when it came out. So he's like in his 80s, roughly at that point. Mm-hmm. And when he's born, it's like the mid to late 20s. Yeah. So there's that scene where his parents, played by Mark Ruffalo and Naomi Watts, who are, to me, they were the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah. Mike, I gotta say, Spacey's mom has got it going on.
But yeah, I just thought there was that scene where, he's trying to as the baby, Kevin Spacey's trying to figure out ways to communicate with his parents that don't involve
betraying
talking.
his...
Right. So he's got the blocks, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying to warn his dad about the 1929 stock market crash, right? Mm-hmm. So he's spelled out in his blocks, he spelled out Black Thursday, which just didn't make any sense. Like, what do you make of that?
Yeah, and then he put like sell.
Yeah.
And his parents are just kind of overlook it. Spacey's character goes to kindergarten.
Yeah.
He knows everything. You know, they can't teach him anything.
Right, and at this point he's starting to talk a little, like he can start to pretend to talk a little bit.
He excels a little too much, you know, and they're like, oh, this kid is a genius. Basically, like, they tell Ruffalo and Naomi Watts, like, your son is smart enough to get into any college. And they're like, but he's only 9 years old. And they tell this to Spacey, and he says, no, I want to stay and go to my local high school. And you're like, oh, why does he want to do that? And you remember, because then you see the girl from the photo. He meets her first day of high school, 14 years old, and I'm seeing Kevin Spacey creep on a 14-year-old. That just reminded me of something, and I couldn't put my finger on it. So you have the actor Kevin Spacey in young age makeup playing a 14-year-old. I think this was like coming off pretty hot on the heels of that Bobby Darin movie he did. Which was called Beyond the Sea, but should have been called Splish Splash, because that's just a more fun song. But so he was like he was like 40s, but he was playing Bobby Darin, who died when he was 27. Do you remember this movie at all?
I remember it existing. I never saw it.
Okay, yeah. So that was like an enormous hit, a huge success. Everyone loved it. So he's like, if I can play like a 20-year-old, why not a 14-year-old? So he's just like escalating, like I can play younger and younger.
Right.
He's a fantastic actor, can do anything. You like his Christmas videos?
Sure. He's playing the House of Cards.
Yeah, Frank Underwood.
Like, yeah.
But he is getting to know this girl, played by Amber Heard. How old do you think she is in this movie? Maybe 18, 20? Like,
mid to late teens. Yeah.
Close to age appropriate for the role but she's playing a little young. She's playing like 14 at the beginning. And so we remember at the beginning, like he told the nurse, like, oh, my greatest regret is not pursuing this girl that I love. And he goes to address that regret right away. Spacey asks her out and everything, and can tell like, oh, she's heard the rumors about this kid, like the brainiac who knows everything and is like far beyond his years. And so everyone's kind of a little weirded out by little Spacey. But she's a nice young lady, so she'll go to the soda fountain with him, right? They go, and and they have like the period music from the late 30s at this point, and it's real fun stuff. But Spacey is trying to show, like, I can, help you through like tough times. I know what happened with your parents. And she's like, what happened with my parents? What do you mean? And he's like, oh, they're divorced. She's like, my parents aren't divorced. And Spacey's like, oh, right. What? When did your parents get divorced? And she's like, my parents aren't divorced. And he's like, oh, maybe it's like, I can help you through the hard time, like after your dad became an alcoholic. And she's like, my dad's not an alcoholic. He hardly touches us. When your dad got injured at work. And she's like, my dad's never been injured at
This is about when he realized he should have taken notes.
Right.
The first time through.
Well, how would he access those notes?
He wouldn't. Yeah, that's true.
But so he really accidentally pushes her away. And contrary to his initial run through of life where he admired her but only ever stayed friends, now he admires her and she won't even talk to him. So.
It's funny because we kind of realize about this point in the movie that one of the major themes is being over-prepared can sometimes be a failing.
You flash back to like when he was talking to the nurse, and my second regret, my first regret was never giving a goodbye to my brother before he left for the war. He's like, okay, the war's like already going in Europe. I got to spend some time with my brother. Yeah. His brother's kind of a jock figure, right?
Right.
So he's like, oh, why don't you show me how to throw the football? So they're like tossing the ball around in the yard. Spacey's like getting the hang of it. His brother's showing him the form, and he's getting better and better. And then he like throws real far, and his brother's like, "Great job, Spacey!" and like runs right into the highway. Smack! Gets flattened by an 18-wheeler. Yeah. So, he thought his first run through was bad when his brother died a war hero. Now his brother, he's roadkill.
It's almost like he's making things worse.
So, homie is like, well, lost my gal, I lost my bro. At least I can still do the one thing that matters most to me in this world. And that's to visit McDonald's corporate founder Ray Kroc's home.
In Oak Park, Illinois.
He goes, and it's like it's shortly after his brother died, so it's maybe 1939, 1940, right?
Right.
He just goes by phone booth, and they have like the giant phone book in there, and he flips through and finds Ray Kroc's name and the address, and he goes to Ray Kroc's house, and Ray himself is out on the street at the next door neighbor, where there's a little boy with a lemonade stand. Ray is having an interesting conversation with this boy, like, if you want to make some real money, you let me run the stand. I can franchise you all over town. Okay, so this is just kind of the kind of person Ray Kroc was.
Right.
But
repeat offender.
Much like Kevin Spacey. And so Spacey's character, Teenage Spacey, goes up to him and is like, are you Ray Kroc? He recognizes him from the photos and everything, but this is a much younger version.
From the framed plaque that they usually have in McDonald's. You remember this?
Yeah.
So you see that going into McDonald's, you're like, who's Ray Kroc? And then they tell you the little history of him.
Are you Ray Kroc? Yeah, that's me. He's like a smooth operator. Teen Spacey's like, you mean so much to me, what you've accomplished with McDonald's. And Ray Kroc's like, what's McDonald's? And so he's like, I did it again. I look up to you. I think you're a good leader, a good man, and you inspire a generation. You kind of follow Ray Kroc for a while. He's like, hey, that felt good to have a boy look up to me.
Right.
I inspired a new generation. You know what? I'm going to become a teacher. And so it's kind of a montage of Kroc's life. He goes back to school, gets his education degree, and he becomes a teacher and is like and inspires a generation of kids. But then the McDonald's Corporation never comes to be. So,
which just has a domino effect on modern world affairs.
You do see a scene where it's like Bill Clinton's there and he's like really fit because he never got addicted to McDonald's. And Spacey sees that on the TV It's like, oh, Bill Clinton elected governor of Arkansas, and he's like a really like slim and trim guy. And Spacey's like, I don't want to live in this world anymore. I hate this. Goes out, buys a gun, puts it in his mouth right there in the gun store. And the guy's like, hey, can you do this outside? And Spacey's like, fine, I'll do you this one favor. He goes outside, blows his brains out, and I think we all saw this coming. Cuts right back to the scene where he's being born. Push! Push! And he comes out, and you see the little baby Spacey. He just rolls his eyes.
Yeah, and says audibly to their astonishment, here we go again. Here's where I should bring in one of the fun behind the scenes. Can I talk about this? Uh-huh. One of the fun behind the scenes tidbits that I found out. Uh-huh. And as you know,
because I was taking a long dump and you were like Googling stuff.
I was Googling, and there is a Wikipedia entry about this movie, even though it's difficult to find. The movie is difficult to find. The working title of the script was Groundhog Life.
Groundhog Life?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
And, you know, it was intended as a spiritual sequel to this other movie we know about, Groundhog Day, with Bill Murray.
Sure.
But they showed it to Harold Ramis, who wrote the script of that movie, and he was so repulsed by it that he refused to let them use the title or any kind of connection with the film. So they had to retitle it to something less appealing.
Would have been a hit if it was called Groundhog Life.
Right.
So baby Spacey born again, and everyone hears him speak aloud again. Everyone's freaking out, screaming again, much like the earlier scene in the movie. And baby Spacey's like, everyone calm down, everyone calm down. It's okay, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm a genius baby who knows everything.
This time he really leans into it.
Yeah, he decides not to hide it at all. He's
right.
like, he doesn't explain like he's lived life again.
Yes.
He's like, he kind of presents himself as like a miracle baby who's like kind of a godlike figure.
Right.
He's quickly featured on the radio, which is funny because it would be very, very easy to fake.
Right.
But they say
at home you're sitting listening and you're thinking, well, this is just an adult
man that they're interviewing.
Right.
But he does like public appearances.
He's on the cover of Time magazine.
He does a whistle stop tour. So he's a little baby, like he's 6 months old, but he can speak with the eloquence of a much older man with a lot of knowledge. And soon enough, like there's kind of a cult growing around him. People kind of worshiping him.
Like the Dalai Lama kind of.
Yeah, or Baby Geniuses 2 Super Babies.
Right. So you have this cult that's led by a baby, and he has kind of like a throne. These mostly adult followers. He's thinking, well, now I have all this power. Why not use that to help me correct all my regrets?
Yeah.
So it's time to call in the lady. She's also a baby. He has the other cult members go and kidnap. I mean, not kidnap, because he's basically in charge. He's like the little kid in that Twilight Zone episode, It's a Good Life.
Yeah.
Where he's just in charge of everything. And
the Twilight Zone movie.
Yes. Joe Dante's segment.
So he summons the Amber Heard character. Thank God they didn't superimpose her face on a baby. But her whole family like moves in, and it's like he says she is to become my wife.
Right.
And so she's raised from infanthood to be this genius baby's wife.
Yeah. And what does that do? Of course, it makes her just resent him.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, my older brother, he's my right-handed man.
Because he has all this knowledge of what's happening in world affairs beforehand, he's able to kind of, he's become a consultant to the U.S. government. Mm-hmm. He manages to avert World War II entirely in this go-around.
So after the Munich thing, like Hitler is like in prison and they have the baby like testify at the trial.
Right.
And Hitler is like put away for life.
Exactly.
Because everyone like puts so much stock in what this baby says.
But the twist of this timeline is that Kevin Spacey essentially becomes a despot himself. Mm. With great power comes... No, that's Spider-Man. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you get this ironic twist where basically this time through ends with Kevin Spacey's character in a bunker.
Right, with his wife, played by Amber Heard.
Right, who hates his guts. His brother's still there, but his brother is like also...
He's like a military commander, but he's had a tough life too. His younger brother is like this weird,
Right.
all-controlling person.
And Ray Kroc is the secretary of
of food.
food. Is there a secretary of food?
In this reality,
Yes, of course.
there
Why wouldn't there be?
Spacey is now an adult. He's having a lavish dinner at the really long banquet table, but he's by himself, right? And it's just all sorts of McDonald's items. I'm talking Big Mac, quarter pound with cheese,
Yeah.
McChicken, McDouble,
McRib.
Filet-O-Fish, fries, McFlurry, chocolate dipped cone,
What was the wrap that they had?
snack wrap, nuggets, I think you mentioned, egg McMuffin.
We're getting into breakfast now. Hash browns. Happy Meal.
So he's chowing down, but it's like it's a sad scene because he's by himself. And his brother, the weight of the world, his brother finally has lived to like an older age.
Yeah.
But like the weight of the world is on his shoulders because he's like the military commander of this whole empire. And it seems like the rest of the world has like allied against Spacey's regime, right?
Because who wants to live in that kind of scenario?
Where it's like one person is controlling the whole
Yeah.
world. After this sad dinner, he goes to the bunker's TV room. Amber Heard in old age makeup because we're like led to believe this is the 60s.
Right.
So she's like much older. He goes in 69. He's like, "What are you watching?" Laugh In, which I'm sure you watched in your childhood, Mike. I wasn't familiar with it.
Yeah, they had on Nick at Night.
Okay.
I wasn't born yet when it was on originally, but I did see
bet.
it growing up.
Okay. So she's watching Laugh In. It's the 60s. He starts like snuggling up to her. He still loves her even though like it's clear she has no feelings for him. He's like trying to like kiss her and like put his hands on her and she's like, "Nah, I need a drink if we're going to do this." He goes to the bar cart, pours her a whiskey, brings it over, starts necking with her. What does she do? Smashes the glass against the end table and slits his throat and says,
"Suck it to me," which is a laugh and catchphrase.
"Oh, that's what that was." So Spacey's like bleeding out on the floor and he's like, "Please, no, I don't want to do this again."
So third attempt at living his life all the way through is down the drain.
Arguably the worst one
Right.
yet.
So he's coming out of where again, and he's like, this, I tried pretending to be a baby. I tried being my genuine, knowledgeable self, and that just led to disaster. What's
the other path to take?
other approach can I take to living my life that will improve things instead of making things worse? At this point, he realizes that having foreknowledge of the future is only a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So he
Improvisation is the only way
Yeah.
to go.
Exactly. So he tries to come up with a way to remove his memories.
And repeated head trauma is his solution.
Right. The parents, Ruffalo and Watts, are like, "Why is our baby repeatedly smashing his head against the wall? This is way messed up."
Yeah, and they try to tie him, like swaddle him real tight in his clothes, and he wriggles out, crawls out of his bed, and bonks his head on the floor. So his problem is he can never his parents will never leave him alone for 1 second. One of them's always awake to like hold on to him, make sure he doesn't hurt himself.
Yeah.
They're always in shifts with him. So how can he make sure that they're both out of his hair? His mother one day making a list for the general store. In those days, it wasn't like you went around the store with a shopping cart. You would just bring the salesman your list, and he would fill it for you and bring you out the stuff. Kind of nice. Spacey has a plan.
So he's added chloroform to his mom's grocery list.
Right. She's like looked away for 1 second. He grabs the pen, writes chloroform on the list.
And rags.
So that night, he's able to grab the chloroform, the rags, gets both his parents out.
They're down for the count.
And he climbs up onto the roof. He says, "Maybe I have regrets, maybe I don't. This life is going to be all new to me." And he jumps, and when he smashes his head on the ground, he looks up and he just starts laughing. His parents like wake up, they come down to him, and it's like, "What happened? The baby fell." What? He's laughing.
Yeah.
He seems okay. And what does baby Spacey say? Goo goo gaga. He's a real baby.
Wow, what a touching moment. So essentially, nothing happened in this movie.
What do you mean?
It just got reset to his first. Well, I guess now he has head trauma.
Right, yeah. It's nice. I don't know. He learned his lesson about like not your regret, whatever. You know, your regrets don't define your life, really. I get they in some ways they do, but maybe there's nothing you could have done about it. There's like a quick sequence where you touch in with Spacey's character like throughout his life as he's getting older. You see him in high school with Amber Heard beside him. 14 divided by 7. What, Spacey? And he just goes, go, go, gaga.
Yeah.
So it was like pretty severe head trauma. And then you see like...
it's odd that they allow him to progress through the grades.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that at the time.
Yeah.
You see him like pull into the McDonald's and he's like, oh, can I take your order? Goo, goo, gaga. And they're like, pull up the first window. And then just all through his life. And then it ends. He's in the nursing home.
Yeah.
By himself again, and the nurse, and it's the same nurse from the very beginning of the movie, comes up and it's like, can I get anything to make you comfortable, you know? And he just says, goo goo gaga. But he's been happy his entire life.
Right. And the nurse, it turns out she kind of turns and winks to the camera.
Right.
And we realize that she was responsible.
Yeah, she's some sort of wizard.
And wanted him to live a life of no regrets, which it turns out the only way you can do that is by being completely inactive.
Which is a lesson we could all take to heart.
Just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. So that was a wonderful movie. To be young again.
And it comes full circle because it started with an old man in a baby's body and it ends with a baby
in an old man's body. Perfect. Yeah.
Do you want to hear a couple of my behind the scenes?
I'd love to.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is another like coincidental. It has to do with the time that this movie was filmed. The emotional climax of this movie, which would have been the final scene in the old age home, that scene was actually filmed on August 29th, 2005, which was, if you don't remember, the date that Hurricane Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast.
Oh wow.
The Gulf of America.
Yep.
So on the DVD extras of this movie, you can find a behind the scenes featurette, which features Spacey dressed in his old man age makeup.
Sure, yeah.
Leading a moment of silence for the victims of Hurricane Katrina before production resumes.
Was Dana Carvey in the turtle outfit there?
Yeah. That leads me to the final tidbit that I got from Wikipedia. I'll just read this off to you. You know about this, I'm sure. The curse associated with this film. The to be young again curse.
What do you mean?
That's kind of related to that previous one, but a number of individuals involved with the production of this movie have met with bizarre deaths and other unfortunate circumstances in the nearly 2 decades since its release. Now, obviously, we know what happened with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
He managed to escape unscathed. But the victims began piling up on the night of the film's premiere, with the first AD being struck by lightning outside the theater on an otherwise calm evening.
Whoa.
Crazy, right? 3 months later, the script supervisor's car caught on fire while she was driving, thanks to a light magnifying makeup mirror in her back seat, causing her to careen off the side of a cliff in the Hollywood Hills. The following year, the best boy Grip died while cleaning out the gutters in his house and being stung by multiple scorpions, to which he was deathly allergic.
I think anyone doesn't want to get stung by scorpions.
Right. And the list goes on and on. You can go read the list on Wikipedia. Year by year, with the total number of incidents totaling in the dozens.
Do you think all of them like restarted their lives with all their memories?
Oh, maybe. Anyway, it's gotten so bad that the film has been disowned by its production company, which resulted in it never having been reissued in high definition on Blu-ray or 4K disc, and remains unavailable to stream, which is why we had to get it from the Forgotten Video Store. Yeah.
Is there any like the Ring style curse associated with watching it, or is it just the?
I hope not.
Okay.
It certainly feels that way.
Well, thanks for bringing that information to light.
You're welcome.
Fascinating movie. Okay, to wrap things up around here, I like to do something called plugs and rants. If you want to, like, anything you want to promote, you can go ahead and do that. And anything you want to rant about, that's great too. For me, I have a rant I'll keep it brief. My rant. I'd like to clearly explain to certain people specifically what mansplain means, but I can't find a safe way to do that.
With a surrogate, probably you'd need to have somebody else, a lady, do it for you.
But then, how do I tell her how to do it?
It's a real quandary.
Mike, do you have anything to promote or rant about, or both?
So I have my own podcast called Who's the Boss. It's on a summer hiatus right now.
It's going to be several months before this episode comes out.
Okay, so yeah, who knows if there'll even be more. I don't know, because there's no Star Wars coming out right now. So hopefully by the time this is released, we'll get more episodes of Who's the Boss out there. As far as rants go, you probably noticed that, I bet you have noticed, that our country is being like stripped for parts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
So that's tough to ignore. But in an effort to do so, I have signed up for AMC A-List.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. So now I can go see 4 movies a week. And I get to stand in that line.
No way.
The special line, the yellow,
that's
with the
awesome.
yellow ropes, the yellow stanchions. That's really what I signed up for, because I'm always so jealous. They have like 4 registers, and they're like, next A-List member, and you're standing in that other line like a chump. You have 1 register that they're calling you up to. So it's like $27 a month, but I think
how many movies do you see?
You can see 4 a week. I got to make sure it's worth it.
Are there that many movies that you want to see?
I hope so.
You saw Weapons.
I saw Weapons. That was my first A-List film. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Did you see Barbarian?
Yeah, I liked the first 45 minutes of Barbarian a lot.
And then it went off the rails for you?
It just wasn't it was kind of just standard shit after that, but the first part was really
That's
cool.
funny, because I just talked to a different friend about it, and he told me he didn't like the first 45 minutes and like the back. This is seriously.
Oh, wow.
Like he was like, I predicted that. Well, I don't know. Should we say no?
Yeah,
but there was this kind of like a red herring in the beginning of the movie, and he kind of figured that out right away. So he wasn't into the beginning, but after that, he liked it.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. It's always fun to hang with you. Thank you for coming all the way to North Hollywood from Burbank to the Forgotten Video Store with me.
Yeah, it was cool. This time, I went around back after we got the movies, and I took a peek in the dumpster.
What?
This is something I used to do a Blockbuster Video where I lived back home in Long Island.
Why are you doing this?
Because they threw away cool stuff.
Like standees?
Standees. For years, I had in my bedroom a Jurassic Park standee that I just fished out of the dumpster.
Did it look like the logo with the T-Rex skeleton?
It was cool. And it was like a VHS display stand.
Oh, I love those.
So I put all my VHSs in there. So similarly, I got some cool movie swag out of the dumpster at Forgotten Video Store. So I'm going to start a collection. Stuff related to some of the movies that you've talked about before. So you know how there's like, you could get honey in like a bear?
Sure,
plastic bear.
What, they had honey bears back there? What was it?
This was like a honey dispenser shaped like Dave Coulier.
Oh, from Kill Swarm, the B movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Pretty
cool,
sweet.
Man. Did it still have honey in it? That doesn't expire.
Honey doesn't expire.
Yeah. So that movie came out in the 90s.
But does it track bugs? So it had that
some
part
bugs in it.
You had to clean it out, but still, to have a transparent Dave Coulier, it's just a fulfillment of a lifelong. That was one of my regrets, really, is never having
a Dave Coulier figure.
Yeah, so that's been
cross that off the list.
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, Mike, we did it. Come over anytime you want to watch more movies.
Third time's the charm. Really,
I thought you did great the first 2 times.
That's really the lesson that both
that's true
me
that we
and
can learn from Spacey.
Kevin Spacey need to learn is that.
Do you think Spacey himself, the actor, has any regrets in his life?
It doesn't seem like it. Would you think he would? You're
right. He's one of these people who's like, nothing I've ever done was my fault.
Right.
Well, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Forgotten Video Store. I noticed some people have been rating and reviewing this show on their podcast apps. I'm like, oh my god, stop. That's so embarrassing. People are gonna think you like me. Starting next week, I'm getting into the Halloween spirit with 4 weeks of spooks. That's right, the next 4 episodes are going to be a deep dive into the spookiest fright fests we could find on the shelves of the Forgotten Video Store. Listen if you dare. The music in this episode was Funky Energy Loop and Evening of Chaos by Kevin MacLeod, Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Okay, bye!